In today's episode of Tiny Tours, we're traveling to Wyoming to tour Heather's beautiful tiny house. By downsizing and selling her conventional home, Heather is now able to work less and make less, and still live comfortably with her teenage son in a gorgeous location. She now has more time to pursue her hobbies and spend time with friends and family. All right, guys, let's take a tour.
Make this house our tiny home.
Hi, I'm Heather HANSEN, and we're in my tiny house in beautiful Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I've been living in this house just short of 2 years. I think it's been a dream since I was a kid. I would turn old chicken houses into tiny houses and design little tree houses. So I think it's always been a dream of mine. I started building my tiny house before I knew where I was going to park it. One of my friends mentioned that I might be able to have a spot here next to where she lives. So she talked to her landlord and he gave the okay. I spent probably a year or so designing the house, drawing a million floor plans. I have a little notebook that I designated just for floor plans that I drew over and over again until I had the design that I absolutely loved. I sent it to the tiny house builder, Mitchcraft Tiny Homes, who I'd had my eye on for quite a while. I really loved his style and his craftsmanship. I kind of gave him some artistic freedom. What he came up with was really beautiful while tying in my wishes.
I'm Gavin Larson and I'm 16. When my mom told me we were going tiny, I thought I'd lose my privacy. How it actually turned out, I got my own room. I was really happy.
As I was designing the house, I specifically designed it knowing that the two of us would be living here. So he has a pretty large stand-up private room over the gooseneck. I never feel like it's too crowded for two people. I pay $450 to rent the land here. The tiny house was around $100,000. I had a conventional home that I sold at the low part of the market in 2011 and was able to sell for double the price. And I used the money that I got from my conventional house to buy my tiny house. I left a conventional job as well, and I'm actually able to work less and make less and still live comfortably. So I gave the designer some loose guidelines when it came to the aesthetics of the house, mainly being that I wanted a farmhouse kind of look. And so gray barnwood was definitely on my list. So he definitely incorporated that. With the creative freedom I gave him, he ended up giving me some nice surprises like the natural wood pine inset, which I think looks really great. The hanging hooks for the pots and pans, which I absolutely love. And also the spice rack, which is super handy. One of the features that my builder surprised me with was the shelf above the cabinets with the live edge. I think it's really beautiful. I like to cook and I don't like to feel cramped when I'm cooking, so a lot of counter space in the kitchen was also one of my must-haves. Underneath the kitchen counter is my washer dryer combo. I really like this model that my builder picked out because it's venting, so it dries my clothes a lot faster than the non-venting models. And also the eco mode only uses 7 gallons of water, which is really great when you're being conscious about your water usage. One of the only problems I've had during my tiny house journey is the fridge. We chose a hybrid propane electric model because the initial thought was that I would be 100% off-grid. It has to be hooked up to a 12-volt and to power, so I have problems keeping the 12-volt charged all the time. Even though the size has been really great, between the battery and my cold climate, I have had problems. So be sure to talk to your builder about where you're going to live and the climate that you're in so he can recommend the best fridge model for you. One of the major perks about living here is that I get to look out of numerous windows, whether it be here at the kitchen, upstairs from my bed, or working at my computer and see the amazing views of the Tetons. I have to pinch myself all the time because I can't believe I'm so lucky. So I keep this heater up here so the fan can push the heat down. It's a small heater, but it heats up the house really well. It keeps me really warm in the winter, and then I also have propane heat as a backup. I'm a web and graphic designer. I work from home, so a desk was important for me for my livelihood. Having a dedicated, stationary, large space for all my equipment was really important. Welcome to the bedroom. This is the loft area above the living room and office area. The most important thing for me here was to have the headspace when I'm sitting up, and I got that. Got a few inches here, which is plenty for me. Another important thing was natural light. I have 3 windows on each exterior wall here. When I wake up, I can see an amazing view of the Teton Range. On my want list was a full-size tub. So with that, I was also able to get a really nice sized bathroom. Come on in, I'll show you. The bathroom, of course, features my full-size tub. I love taking a nice soak in a bathtub, so a full-size bathtub was a must for me. I chose not to go the route of the $1,000 commercial composting toilet, so my builder built me a really nice wooden encasement so that I could use a simple bucket composting system. Then I have a nice corner vanity that has a large mirror and a deep sink and plenty of storage. So in my spare time, I am an oil painter, so I was really happy to be able to use this loft space above the bathroom to set up my studio. I really love that I have all the open windows up here and I can be inspired by nature, take advantage of the natural light, and paint. So to maximize space, the builder put these cubbies inside the stairs. They've been really handy for all the extra storage. They're all really long. It's been a really efficient way to use the space.
Well, in my room, this is the room that's located over the gooseneck, which makes it very tall, which I like. It has lots of storage and tons of lights. And my favorite part is my desk. It holds my 2 monitors and many other stuff.
The tiny house was built on a 37-foot gooseneck trailer. I chose yellow cedar siding to side the house with, and as you can see, there are lots of windows. 2 main reasons: I love natural light, and also I want to take advantage of the passive heat during the winter because it gets very cold. So now we're at the end of the tiny house, and this is where my water tank fill up is. I have 2 ways to fill up. I'm not hooked up to water here at this location, and so I have to manually fill the tank here. I also have a normal hookup that I can hook up to at an RV site or whatever. With 2 people, I chose to go with the 100-gallon tank. About a week and a half to 2 weeks it takes me to go through the tank. So now we're on the front side of the trailer. We have the gooseneck area here, and we thought it'd be a great place to put a shed so we can take advantage of some extra storage space. You can kind of see one of the gooseneck arms here.
I use a space to store seasonal equipment like camping gear, snowboards, and snowshoes for winter. Then I also store my water hauling gear, my propane, my 12-volt for my fridge, and other miscellaneous stuff that doesn't have a place inside the house. To help us stay warmer in the winter and to help keep our water drains from freezing, we decided to put skirting around the underside of the tiny house. So we framed it with 2x4s and then stuffed the spaces with 2-inch rigid foam and then covered it with T111 siding, which coincidentally ended up matching the side of the house really well. So I was super stoked about that.
Living small is a lot different than living in a conventional house where you have lots of space to fill up with lots of stuff. One of the things I really love about the small space is how cozy it is. You really have to be intentional about what you bring into the house. I'm pretty lucky. I feel pretty fortunate to have found this space living on the edge of Grand Teton National Park and having the view of the Teton Range right out my window. I feel pretty blessed.
Thanks for watching this week's video. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so that you get a notification every time I post a new video.